Hello dear learners, I am Professor M. Masum Raza from Department of Library Information Science, AMU Aligarh. So in the previous lecture we have discussed the functioning of maintenance section, then we have discussed the principles of stacking, and even we have discussed the types of stacks. So the more important is I told you about what are the activities of maintenance section, and you have seen the comprehensive activities of maintenance section, what are their functions, how they are executing, what are the tools required, and what the principle of stacking says about the organization of the collection or the organization of the stacks. Because the stacking area has to be planned well, and whenever you are planning a library building, you have to plan it in a very appropriate manner where the stacking area will be. So you have to keep those principles in mind when you are planning the stacking area. On every floor, you have to keep in mind that what kind of, where you are keeping and what kind of arrangement you are giving, what tools you will be giving, what facilities you will be giving to the user, and how they can be maintained for a longer time. So coming to the binding, binding is also one of the important activity of maintenance section, and binding is important especially for those books which are getting spoiled. So this maintenance section will be responsible for identifying all those types of books which needs repair. They will identify it and they will send it to the binding section. Binding section, basically when we call it, basically a laboratory which takes care of preservation and conservation. So we will see what are the activities of the binding process. So in this lecture I'll just talk about the purpose, then the kinds of library binding, and then we have the preservation and conservation. What is the need of preservation and conservation, then what are the causes of deterioration and the remedies. In short, we will be discussing this. So basically, just to introduce what this library binding is, it refers to the process of reinforcing or preserving the physical integrity of the book, ensure their longevity and durability in the library collection. Unlike the binding used in retail edition, library binding is designed to withstand heavy use and frequent handling. So library binding typically use durable materials such as high quality cloth, leather or synthetic material for covers. The pages are often sewn together, then glued, which provides greater strength and durability. They are reinforced at stretch points such as the spine and corners to prevent damage from frequent use. Reinforcements may include extra layer of board or cloth or metal edges or corner protectors. This is a traditional method of book binding where the pages are sewn together in small groups before being attached to the spine reinforcement. So sewing basically creates a strong flexible binding that allows the books to lay flat when opened, and it prevents pages from loosening or fallout. Binding prevents deterioration over time and often uses acid-free papers and adhesives, which helps to minimize yellowing or degradation of the pages. Libraries may opt for custom binding to suit their specific needs, such as adding reinforced hinges or for oversized books, incorporating special features like pockets or clasps, or embossing the library's logo or name on the cover. While library binding may initially be more expensive than standard retail binding, it is considered a cost-effective investment in the long run due to the increased lifespan of the books and reduced need for frequent replacements. So basically, if in very simple terms I have to tell you what the binding is, it is just adding the strong and stout cover to a document just to provide a long life, or you can say means this knowledge can be saved for the posterior generation. How the knowledge can be saved for the posterior generation is you at least better upkeep of the knowledge. So you try to, in the traditional times, the best way was whatever has been printed, you don't have the second copy of it. So if you have the only copy of it, you just save it by all means. Use the conservation preservation technique to save the document. And if you feel that a document is getting deteriorated, you can use the conservation techniques. But any textbook or any reference book which you know that it has to be retained by the library for a longer period, you immediately get it binded. Means that is simply adding a stout cover, sewing it properly, adding thread gauge and fixing it properly, reinforcing it properly from the spines and corners. That can give a longer life to the document. And once a document is having a longer life, means it will be used by generations. All your coming generation, all your posterior generations will be making use of it. So this is how the knowledge can be transferred from one generation to the other generation. So what is the basic purpose of this binding is one very clear, that is preservation. So binding protects the books and other materials from the damage caused by the frequent use, handling and exposure to the environmental factors such as light, dust and humidity. Second, longevity, as I just now told you, it gives a longer life to the document. So when we reinforce the structure of the books, binding extends their lifespan, allowing them to remain in circulation for a longer period. So it helps libraries maximize the return on the investment, that is ROI, in acquiring and cataloging materials. So if you keep on acquiring, books will be mutilated and you just weed out, keep on acquiring new, again you get it classified, again get it catalogued. So there will be a lot of investment on it. But if you simply buy a book and get it binded, get it reinforced, so if you are able to use it for 10 years, at least that is more economical for you than buying 3 copies. If a particular copy can be used for 10 years after binding, and you just imagine a situation where a book is mutilated in 2 or 3 years and you buy subsequent 3 copies of it. Means one is spoiled, go for the second one, then again you get it classified, catalogued, use it after 3 years, again that also deteriorates. Buy third copy, get the classification cataloging done, and then again after 3 years it will be spoiled. So one option can be there that okay, whenever you are buying it, if it is a costly item, whenever we are buying it, get it binded properly, give it a much is a good strength, enough strength to sustain all type of wear and tear, all type of stresses, and if you can maintain it for 10 years, so you save a lot of money. So third most important is ease of handling. So bound books are easier to manage and store than the loose pages or unbound material. So there is one advantage. Then we have professional appearance. So good books definitely attracts everyone. So if the book is in good shape, neat and clean, it attracts the user. But if it is in a bad shape, mutilated, lot of wear and tear is there, but a lot of marks on it, nobody would like to read it. So the positive thing is the book, if it is binded, it looks neat and clean and in a proper shape. So every user is attracted towards the book. Next important thing is facilitation of cataloging and access. So bound books are easier to label, barcode and catalog than unbound materials. So that is also one added advantage here, and they can be identified, organized and retrieved more quickly and accurately, improving access to the library staff and users. And the last of all is value retention. Properly bound books retain their value over time, making them more desirable for resale or donation. And this can also benefit the library by providing additional revenue or expanding their collection through gifts. So although this option is up to the libraries how to exercise, but not always important. Then coming to the next, that is kinds of library binding. What are the different types of binding here? You can see here it is publisher's casing, and then we have paperback, and then we have reinforced binding, and then we have half leather, full leather, full cloth and half cloth. Briefly, I'll discuss this. So the publisher's casing is, these are the standard binding provided by the publishers. When books are first printed, they typically consist of a cover made from the cloth or paper attached to a straw board. While economical, they may not withstand heavy use over time. So it is the first when the publisher is doing it. Second type of binding is paperback. This is also known as soft cover or paperback binding, and these books have flexible cover made from the paper or cardstock. They are lightweight and affordable but less durable compared to the hardcover binding. Then we have reinforced binding. This involves strengthening weakened volumes by adding material to the areas that are prone to damage, such as reinforcing hinges with cloths or adding tissue to strengthen pages. This process helps extend the lifespan of the books, especially those frequently used in the libraries. Then we have half leather binding. The book is more prone to damage from the spine and the corners. So when I say half leather, means that is, we will just see which area is more prone to damage. So that is the spine and the corners. So spine and corners can be covered with the cloth or leather. So when a spine and corners are covered, that is called half cloth or half leather. And if it is covered completely, including spine, corner, that will be called as full leather. So this is a difference between the half and full. So especially in half leather, we will just focus on the most, you can say, most liable to be damaged part, or you can say the most vulnerable portion of the document, or the portion of the document is the spine and the corners. So these portions are to be covered by the cloth or the leather. So this gives a longer life to the document. Then coming to the binding material, you can say, because that decides the cost. So as you must have seen, the paperback is always cheaper, and if you go for the board, it is costlier. If you go for the cloth, it's again costlier. If you go for the leather, again it's costlier. So leather probably is the most costliest one, and it depends. So now even the people have started using imitation of the leather, that is Rexine. So Rexine is just half of the price, but not as durable as leather. So there are always positive and negatives, but the library has to see their budget, and within their limited budget, if they can give a longer life to their collection, that is well and good. So it always depends how meticulously they are planning. So let me tell you some of the virtues of the leather. Leather is a traditional and luxurious binding material, known for its durability and elegance, and it is commonly used for the high-end binding and special editions. So means normally the costly documents, costly reference documents, which you know that you cannot afford every time, the documents which are going to cost you lakhs of rupees. So it can be dictionaries or it can be encyclopedias, those kind of collections which you know that you have purchased it and it will be used for maybe a decade or 2 decades. So at least for those type of reference materials, at least one should go for the leather binding. Within leather also we have different qualities. So you can have the Morocco leather. Morocco leather basically that is derived from the goat skin. So that is called Morocco. So this is highly regarded for its durability and aesthetic appeal, and it is known for its distinctive grain pattern and texture, which adds a touch of elegance to the book cover, and Morocco leather is often used for fine binding, and especially in the libraries where durability is essential. This is one of the important quality of Morocco. Another leather is sheep leather, which is derived from the sheep skin. When I say sheep skin, this leather is prized for its softness and flexibility. This is very flexible, very soft. It is commonly used for binding that requires uh, a luxurious feel, such as high-end editions and personal libraries. Especially, it is known for its durability and attractive appearance. So again, it is to be used. It has to be used for the high-end reference sources or maybe high-end books. Then the third quality we have is calf leather. Calf leather, as you know, the calf leather is derived from the calf skin. So definitely the calf skin is not a mature skin. So when it is not a mature skin, although it will give you a good shine, luxury, everything it will give you, a smooth texture, but again the durability will be a question mark. It will be less durable than other types of leather as it comes from a young animal and is relatively thin. So it is often used for the special editions or decorative binding rather than for the heavy use. Then we have leather derived from the pig, that is called hog skin. So this is known for durability and toughness, makes it suitable for heavy duty binding, and it is not a soft or luxurious or any other type of leather. Pig skin is valued for its strength and resistance. This is not a luxurious kind of thing. It is brittle, hard and durable, tough. So the pig skin is valued for its strength and resistance to wear and tear, and it is commonly used for binding that requires robust protection, such as encyclopedia and reference books also, if your library cannot afford it, because very costly, when I say, means if your library can afford it, you can go for the goat skin, Morocco skin. But if your library, the budget is not to that extent, but at least even if you want to save your collection for a longer duration, then definitely you can go for the hog skin. Then another type of leather is seal skin. Seal skin is again historically used for book binding due to its durability and unique texture. However, the seal skin is less commonly used today due to ethical and environmental concerns surrounding the seal hunting. Now seal hunting has been banned, so it will be difficult to get the seal leather. But anyway, it was once upon a time it was used, and now because of so many constraints, it is not easily available. The second category of binding is cloth binding. This is also known as the buckram or linen binding, and is made from the sturdy fabric such as cotton linen or synthetic fibers. And the cloth bindings are durable, cost effective and available in the wide range of colors and textures. Third quality, we have paper. This is a cheap binding but not very durable. Paper binding is typically used for the soft cover or paperback books. The cover stocks can vary in weight and finish, and ranging from the lightweight paper for the mass market paperbacks to heavier card stock for higher quality editions. So both the qualities we have a lightweight paper also, and we have a heavier card stock for the higher quality editions also. Then fourth quality binding is board binding. So board binding is also known as binder's board or chipboard, or these are rigid materials used to provide structure to the book cover. They are often made from the layers of compressed papers or cardboards and come in various thickness to suit the different binding styles. So this again, boards are also there of different categories. One is simple straw board, that is a cheap quality board, often used for smaller and less expensive books, because as the name suggests, it is made from straw, and it is commonly found in abundance, particularly in the regions like Holland. So that is made up of the straws, so it is cheaper and can be used for smaller and less expensive books. The second quality of board is a split board. Split boards are used for reinforced library binding, providing extra strength and support to the book's spine. And these boards are typically made by gluing together thin black millboard and thick straw board. The two types of boards are mixed here. One is mill board and the second is the straw board. When you mix these two quality of boards, the quality of these two boards, that becomes an added feature of the split board. So the process involves gluing the straw board and the black board together and leaving the center unglued to accommodate additional reinforcement. And the split boards are pressed together to ensure proper adhesion and structural integrity. Third quality, we have mill board. The mill board is basically manufactured from the old hemp ropes and rags. So they can be recycled material. They can be recycled to produce a high quality mill boards. Finished dark boards are often highly calendared, making them tough and hard wearing. That is a feature of this mill board, and the mill board is commonly used for standard books due to the durability and strength, because it has been made from the rags, makes from the hemp and ropes, so definitely it has got good strength. And straw, when you combine these two, mill and straw, it becomes a split board. So half of the qualities of the mill board also passes in that split board. And the last of all is the grey board. The grey board is a medium quality board known for its compactness and durability. It is commonly used in bookbinding and is available for purchase based on the weight or thickness. So another we are using another quality of binding is Bukram. Bukram is a type of cloth commonly used in the library material, and due to its durability and resistance to wear and tear, it is often treated with starch or other stiffening agents to enhance its strength. Then we use plastics also. Plastic binding is also available, such as comb binding or the spiral binding. Use plastic elements to secure the pages of the book. Then we use adhesives such as glues or paste that are used to bond the cover material to the binding boards and secure the pages of the books. And the type of adhesive used can impact the durability and longevity of the binding. So again, we will emphasize on the preservation and conservation aspects. So preservation and conservation, that is one of the important activity of maintenance section, as I told you earlier. And this basically the preservation and conservation for the reading material, that is of prime importance for any library, and because it ultimately guides, or you can say it stands as a guardian of the human knowledge. So safeguarding the invaluable treasures of literature, history, science and culture for generations to come. So that is a basic objective of preservation and conservation. And in the vast repositories of the libraries, archives, museums, books, manuscripts and documents serves as a windows into the past and repositories of wisdom and sources of inspiration. However, with the passage of time and the ravages of environmental factors threaten to erode these artifacts, imperiling their integrity and accessibility. So basically, the preservation and conservation emerge as an indispensable discipline dedicated to the production, maintenance and restoration of reading material. These disciplines combine scientific knowledge, technical expertise and ethical stewardship to ensure that the rich tapestry of human heritage endures the test of time. From the fragile pages of ancient manuscripts to delicate binding of centuries old books, every artifact holds a story waiting to be preserved and shared. So preservation and conservation efforts encompasses a multifaceted approach encompassing environmental controls, careful handling, meticulous cleaning and strategic repair. By controlling factors such as temperature, humidity, light levels, institutions create optimal condition for the long-term survival of reading materials. Meanwhile, expert conservators employ delicate technique to repair, tear, reinforce bindings and stabilize fragile pages, extending the lifespan of these artifacts. So, the preservation conservation basically serves as a custodian of our collective memory, guardians of human ingenuity and champions of intellectual freedom. So, with this we know the importance of preservation and conservation. So, how to do all this? So, basically how we are doing it and what is the need of it. So, at least just to save the cultural heritage, that is always important. The library collections are very valuable because it has got the cultural artifacts, rare books, manuscripts and historical records that provide insight into the cultural, social and intellectual history of societies. So, preserving these materials are of utmost importance. Number 2, knowledge preservation, because the libraries serves as the repositories of human knowledge. So, containing a vast array of information spanning various disciplines, subjects and time periods. So, preserving library collection ensures that this knowledge is safeguarded for future research, education and scholarship. So, again research continuity. Many libraries collections support ongoing research in various fields including history, literature, science, technology and arts. By preserving these collections, libraries enable researchers to build upon previous studies, explore new avenues of inquiry and advance knowledge in their respective fields. So, for the continuity of research also, the preservation and conservation is very important. So, conservation of rare and unique materials. So, you know that the culture, manuscripts, so they all are very significant and they are, especially the rare materials, they need to be conserved at any cost. So, they are irreplaceable and has got a significant historical, cultural and monetary value, and this may include the first edition manuscripts, archival documents, artworks, maps, photographs and artifacts. So, proper preservation measures are necessary to protect these material from damage and deterioration, loss of theft, means even from the loss or even or from the theft, ensuring their longevity and continued availability for study and appreciation. So, again the need is for educational resources. The library collections are vital educational resources that support teaching, learning and lifelong education. So, preserving these resources ensures that students, educators and the lifelong learners have access to diverse research projects, diverse materials and classroom instructions and personal enrichments. So, well preserved collections enhances the quality of education, promote intellectual growth and development. Now, coming to the causes of deterioration. So, just I will try to spell out this. What are the causes basically? You can see the environmental factors are there, physical handling also can damage the books, then biological agents we have, then chemical deterioration is there and then poor storage condition. These are all the factors which spoil the documents. So, just I will take one by one. So, environmental factors, basically the exposure to the fluctuating temperature basically, a high humidity, a light and then pollutants can accelerate the degradation of books. So, temperatures and humidity fluctuation can lead to expansion and contraction of materials. So, causing the warping and weakening of paper fibers. Light exposure, especially ultraviolet radiations, can cause fading and discoloration. And the pollutants such as dust, dirt and acidic gases can contribute to chemical deterioration. So this is how the environmentally the books are being damaged. Now just we can have a look at the physical handling. The improper handling, frequent use and the rough treatment can cause physical damage to the books. Rough handling can lead to tear, creases and abrasions on the pages and cover. Overuse of book binding can result in the spine damage, loosening of pages and weakening of joints. Then third factor, biological agents, especially the insects, mold, fungi can infest and damage the books, particularly if they are stored in damp and humid environment. The insects such as silverfish, book lice feed on the pages or the papers because ultimately they contain the cellulose. And the mold and the fungi thrive on the moist conditions, so causing staining, odor and deterioration of paper. Then chemical deterioration, we can see the chemical especially the reactions within the paper, ink and binding material can lead to the degradation over time. Acidic paper, commonly used in older books, undergoes acid hydrolysis, causing yellowing, brittleness and eventual disintegration. Ink formulations containing iron gall or other acidic components can corrode paper fibers and lead to ink fading and embrittlement. Then last of all, the poor storage condition, the improper storage practice such as overcrowding and exposure to direct sunlight or moisture can deteriorate the documents. Then overcrowded shelves can cause pressure damage to the spines and covers, while exposure to sunlight and moisture can accelerate degradation. So these are the causes which ultimately spoils the document. So all these factors, you can see all these 5 factors are deteriorating the condition of the books. So the maintenance section, they have to be very careful and they have to keep very vigilant, and they have to keep their vigil especially on these 5 elements which spoil the condition of the books. Then coming to the remedies, because once you know that these are the conditions and how things can be cured. So environmental controls can be there. And what are the controls? You can have a stable temperature and humidity levels in the storage areas to prevent the fluctuations that can damage books. Use dehumidifiers, air conditioners and climate control system to regulate environmental conditions, and store books in the areas away from the direct sunlight and pollutants to minimize exposure. This can be done. Then proper handling, train your staff to how to handle the books, train your users to how to handle the books, and proper handling can minimize physical damage. And try to encourage the use of book support, book cradles and clean hands when handling books. Avoid bending, folding or pulling on books' spine and covers. Then pest management, there is one area which the management, especially the management section, has to be very careful. When they see the cockroaches, the insect thrives in the darkness and can damage books by fouling the filler in the book clothes, leaving behind a musty smell. And they can be eradicated using insecticides like Gamexine. So whenever you find cockroaches, the use of the Gamexine can be of best use. Immediately do it and just get rid of these cockroaches. Number 2, white ants or termites. White ants are particularly destructive to the books, and their eradication often requires extensive measures such as digging up the nest and treating the soil with chemicals like carbon bisulfide or carbon tetrachloride. The preventive measures include using steel furnitures, concrete buildings and proper ventilation. But if there is the termite infestation, one has to do it. You immediately treat with carbon bisulfide or carbon tetrachloride. So if you treat with carbon bisulfide and carbon tetrachloride at least, or nowadays a lot of chemicals are available to kill the termites. So immediately those things can be bought from the market and applied on the furniture or the table, wherever you find the termites are there, immediately it can be done. And if the infestation is on the books, so immediately you have to remove all the things and keep it in the sun for some time, dry it properly, and then so that it just drives out the termite from there. But normally if it is on the wooden table or the chairs, you have to immediately repair it or just remove it from the library. Then second thing which most often damages the books is the bookworm. So basically the larva of the beetle can bore into the books, creating pinholes and damage the paper and binding. So fumigation is the best method, and especially with the naphthalene or para-dichlorobenzene crystals can just repel these beetles effectively. So just by the smell of the naphthalene balls, or that is para-dichlorobenzene, immediately they will run away. So you have to find an remedy to just save your books. Next, fungus. This thrives in the humid conditions and can destroy the paper and leather binding, leaving behind white scars. So adequate ventilation, loose shelving of books and artificial heating can help prevent the growth of molds. So solution containing thymol crystals, then mercury bichloride, HgCl2, ether, benzene, and can be applied to just inhibit the mold growth. Then next we have silverfish, and these are nocturnal, they are active at night, that feeds on binding, paper and starch. They can be repelled by maintaining cleanness and using mixtures of simple boric acid and fluor or sodium fluoride and the fluor near the books. So that will drive out the silverfish. Then we have some conservation treatments. So engage professional staff, conservators, to assess and treat the damaged books using appropriate conservation techniques, and treatment may include the surface cleaning, then paper repair, spine reinforcement and resewing of binding, use archival quality material and adhesives to ensure long-term stability. Then proper storage of books, especially the store books in the archival quality boxes, folders or shelving units designed for the long-term preservation. Use acid-free and lignin-free storage materials to minimize your chemical deterioration, and store books in the cool, dry and well ventilated environment away from the source of moisture and heat. Then implement proper shelving practice to prevent overcrowding and ensure adequate support for books. Then the worst part is human beings are also, they are considered as enemy for the books, and we have to find a remedy for them also. And the remedy which you find for the human beings, they are going to be very costly. The human beings, including readers and the visitors in the libraries, can pose a significant threat to the books due to their antisocial behavior, such as stealing, mutilating, and in many libraries, book losses due to the theft, unreturned loans, mutilation, and simply misplaced books are the major concerns. So most of the libraries, they have started with centronic gates or the electronic gates, so that anybody stealing a document can be caught red-handed. And even you must have seen the use of CCTV cameras in the stack area, or maybe near the reading halls, just to see that how the users are using a particular document, how the users are using a book. Normally they use the method of dog earing or they will try to scribble something on the book. They try to mutilate it, putting signatures, writing anything, ticking number of times. So ultimately these things have spoiled the document. So they have to be well educated that if they are caught doing anything of this sort, they will be punished, and next time they will not be issued any document, or they will not be allowed to enter the library. Number two, and if you find anybody stealing, or that evidence has to be there, so normally the libraries, they have resorted to use of CCTV cameras. But ultimately again, if you are investing a lot of things, a lot of money on cameras and having the centronic gates or the electronic gates just to detect who are the people, who are the members who are trying to steal the documents, we are wasting a lot of money on these equipments. If had it been that the human beings would have been honest, at least this money could have been used for the procurement of reading materials. And that would have been a better use of the library. So with this, I am concluding the maintenance section. These are all activities of the maintenance section I am concluding here, and in the next lecture we will see the other activities of the libraries. Thank you.